So hello everyone. Welcome to Oracle Talks. Hey, Deanna. So please let me know if the video is actually looking fine because it always looks fine on my side. But from last week, the stream was actually pixelated for viewers. So, okay, good. And if it ever stops looking good, then let me know. But hopefully it will behave this time. Anywho, yes, welcome to Oracle Talks special edition. I'm actually going to be doing a reading for the winter solstice and the new moon in Cancer. So that's actually going to be first. So I'll do that for about 30 minutes or so, or even longer, depending on what comes in. Hey, Natalie. Hey, everybody. Awesome. Yes, say hi and as I told Deanna, for anyone else who's jumping in, please do give me a heads up if the if the video starts getting pixelated. But hopefully it'll be good. So I'm going to be doing a reading for the winter solstice and the full moon. Hey Ellen, welcome. For the full moon in Cancer that we're having. So I actually got some new decks. They were actually gifted to me by a friend, another fellow magical being. So I'm actually going to pull some from that deck, those two decks as well, in addition to my regular ones. So yeah, and then after we do the reading portion, then I will talk a little bit more about or continue the story of my background from the time from college into my late 20s. So if you didn't get a chance to already, thank you, Natalie. I feel great. These are actually going to be coming out tomorrow. It's been about a month and I'm actually over them because they really are cumbersome to work with. And I actually wasn't happy with the quality of the hair that I got. But this is my first time trying it. But yeah, it's been a fun road with them, but this tomorrow is going to be done and I'm going back to my back to my regular. So thank you. But yeah, I will continue with the story of my journey. So if you missed last week's video, that is up and I talk about my formative years as quickly as I could. So from early childhood through high school. And so I will do my best to actually jump into that. But, priority is actually the reading, and then secondarily me. So I do need to keep to my hour for today for the Oracle Talks, just because I have a lot that I have to do. So yeah, I won't be able to, if it takes an hour for the reading, it's going to be an hour reading. And then I'll jump on another time to talk about me. All right. So I hope everyone is doing amazingly well. I hope you got your tea. I'm sipping on Earl Grey with a coconut creamer that I love from Farm Fresh to You, direct from farm weekly deliveries with a little bit of raw honey. So that's what my situation is. If you are drinking any tea or you would like to share, feel free to type that in. Tea is life. All right, so when I am channeling messages for the collective, and in particular those who are part of my Oversoul group, which basically is anyone who is drawn to me, we're family. I like to use my Oracle deck, and I think it's pronounced Brawl-Talay. Is the name. It's spelled B-R-A-L is the first word, and the second word is T-A-L-E-J. So this deck is absolutely gorgeous. It's 111 cards. All the images on the cards are actual paintings, so they are stunning. But this is like my, how should I call it? It's like my deck to the matrix of the universe, so to speak. So I was, shuffling to see what the primary message was going to be. And it's interesting, two cards came out, which very much came in alignment with what I've been talking about and where I'm sure you've heard from other lightworkers about this time period being a choice point. And that's always, the case actually, I think, around winter solstice for us, for those of us who are in the northern hemisphere, where we choose what we are going to lay the foundation for the future, because this is Capricorn time for us, right? But the stark difference in the cards that came up is very much that division of worlds, if you will, between the kinds of experiences that you can have. So the two cards basically are number 16, which is defeat in this deck, but I correlate this to the Tower card. But for our purposes for right now, so I don't get too off track, because I will start getting off track already. Defeat, and then the second card is number 20, awakening. Now this card I also associate with the Judgment card in the tarot deck, card number 20. So very different energy, right? Like, this is truly, literally awakening. There is a light being birthed. You see the gathering of the spiritual energy, the guides. It's like literally a sun right there in the center. Lots of communication. That blue color is old soul energy for me. But then this card, the defeat card, it's dark, it's bound by fear. This almost to me right now looks like a cage, even though I don't normally get that perspective. But it's like being locked in a cycle of the past. So, I'm not one to really be like, oh, on this day, like this is, the day when something happens. It's the days that we use are just markers for what has been going on. So we've all been knowing that we have been continually been asked to shift out of the old and lay the foundation for the new. And what that has looked like for a lot of us, because of the Saturn in Capricorn transit, is an accounting of what the last 30 years has been in terms of relationships, finances, health, family dynamics, ancestral, familial patterns that have been just like repeating, career, fitness, health, all the things, right? And we've been struggling with, okay, this feels familiar. Let me decide if I want to continue on with this person in a situation where it's been an on and off relationship. Or I know I'm not really happy at this job. Do I stay or do I go? Do I start laying the foundation for a business that I want to launch? Those kind of considerations. If it's finances, it's just like, okay, I need to get a handle on my budget, because I keep falling in the same cycle, and I get to a certain point and then I sabotage, and then I come back down to, some same level. Whatever it is, we've all been having that accounting, and it's hard because this is long-term dynamics and cycles that we've been a part of for a while. And it's not easy to shift out of that, because not only are we having to shift out of that, we're also simultaneously having to replenish our soil and then also plant seeds. So it's like literally having one foot in the past, one foot in the future, and being strong enough and stable enough and resilient enough mentally and emotionally, spiritually and physically to literally hold these two different worlds, these two different timelines at the same time, and stay centered as best as possible. So for me, this has been a progressive birthing process, right? But it really started to, I think, come to a head and really become hyper-focused and clear for most people when Venus entered into Scorpio, and in particular when she went retrograde, because it was really bringing everything front and centered for us to see, for us to perceive, for us to understand, and really check in and be like, okay, am I going to take the leap of faith into something new? Am I going to be strong enough to leave whatever the stuff is behind that needs to be left behind? Is there a situation where I just need to make minor tweaks as opposed to completely starting over, and that kind of self-mastery and self-reflection has been dominant, right? So this specific day of the full moon in Cancer, also the winter solstice, is the demarcation point. It's the graduation, really. It's not the day where you make the choice because you actually already made the choice, but this is the time when you get to check in and say, or see rather, perceive, to feel, oh, am I actually in the new energy now, or am I back in the old? And how you are feeling and how you're orienting is going to tell you what your choice already was. So how are you feeling? Is your heart lighter? How is your physical body feeling? How is your mind feeling? Are you freaking out? I think if you are scared because of what is new, that means you made a choice to jump and you are in new energy that you don't have all the answers to. That's when you know you're growing. If you already know how to handle everything, it means you didn't make the jump. You're not actually stretching. If a part of you is freaking out because you're like, okay, I can do this, and then the next minute you're like, oh my God, this is a lot, but it's also amazing, but it's a lot. That means you made the jump, okay? For yourself, whatever that looks like, but that's what that's what that feels like. Because it's scary, because it's new, because it's something that we don't know, and it requires trust, right? It requires leaning on that which we do not know, that which we can't see, that which we can't physically feel. It's a call and a reminder to relying deeply on spirit, relying deeply on God. Less and less about getting confirmation and affirmation from the outside world. This next year and a half, particularly, this transit or the North Node through Cancer, to me specifically, is a faith walk. Because Cancer represents the power of the individual soul. It is a deep connection to intuition. It's connection to the Mother God energy or aspect, the divine feminine. It is truly creating purely and directly from source, having your fuel from source. It is literally the fourth house, which is to me, the foundation of the foundation from which the rest of the houses in the natal chart are built from. And it's also going to be, I think, a little scary, because if you've already done what I call the death walk, which is the walk to experience reality, which I talked about a lot last week, you kind of already have a sense of what this is going to feel like. But it's that reliance on that which cannot be seen, and direct direction and intel and inspiration. And the fear that can come up with everyone else not getting the same information, of knowing that in one moment you can shift from being in one group to another group in an instant, and then back again the next instant. That nothing is actually static. It truly is always in a state of becoming. There's a lot of self-mastery that has to come with that, because you realize how much of your experience you are going to be in control of. You don't control the world. There's always going to be good things that happen. There are always going to be quote unquote bad things that happen. That's irrelevant to you, right? It just happens because it's happened in life. You're only one small part of that. but your navigation through that, your experience through that, and your ability to leverage it and to use it and to ride a wave when there's an upswell of manifestation energy, or to take a rest when things kind of contract, or if it's a time of stasis and holding, that's going to be on you. And this next year, particularly for 2019 as well too, right, is going to be practicing the new that you just stepped into, and the reliance on spirit, not the reliance on self. So the self exploration was what the last year and a half was with the North Node going through Leo. That was about our humanity. That was about what makes us unique, our unique gifts and talents, our unique desires and dreams and goals, wants, etc. That's what that was about. Now this is a coming home to reality. That was a time of truth. This is a time of reality. Because truth is relative. It is true, it's not false, right? But it's relative to each individual person. That's what we've been uncovering, is as we've come out of the Saturn cycle through, the last 11 signs, and the Sagittarius being the closing out of the cycle, is assessing what is really me as an individual human being and what's not. What actually do I want? What's really on my heart? That's what this has been the last year and a half for the most part. There's been a lot happening, but to simplify. But this year and a half, but for 2019 specifically, right, is what is reality? What is actually the nature of my soul? And how is that showing up and informing my humanity, my Leo nature? How is the Cancer reality showing up and informing and guiding the Leo humanity nature? That's going to be a tough orientation for some folks, right? Because we don't realize how much we lean on the outside until we realize how much the outside is in flux, and how much it's not actually giving us the right information, and how much it doesn't actually have the answers for us. And I know you've already been feeling this, because the last couple months, it's been very difficult to feel out, to suss out, to kind of project or forecast what's coming. And the reason why is because literally new contracts for everybody, and people are still deciding. So the time dynamic of the slower vibrational energy that we've been in for millennia, right? A lot of that has dissipated. So things are happening so much more quickly, and we can't project that far. We can get like maybe a step or two ahead, maybe. We can't go much further than that, because there truly is, and always has been, but we're going to be experiencing, there truly is a creation that happens in the moment. And who you are now is not necessarily who you're going to be a week from now. And the ability to be adaptable to the unfolding of the soul, not the human personality, is what this test, if you will, or what this corridor, this birthing is going to be about. Once we finish going through that process and we get into that North Node going through Gemini, we will be able to come together and create in a different kind of way. But this is going to it's going to feel a little similar in terms of like accounting, right? Of like checking in and being like, okay, what is true to me as a human being, but what also is the reality of my soul? What is actually the reality of the universe, of that which actually is beyond the manifest universe, that which has no name? What's outside of what I already know? Where can I stretch and grow? Where do I need to come into greater spiritual mastery? Where do I also need to come into greater energetic mastery? And this is going to be a big thing that I'm going to be focusing on for the year with people in general. And a lot of what I speak on is one, the direct relationship that you have with God, really focusing and developing with that, but also two, energetic mastery. Because what I've been finding is that there is this idea that just because you're having a lot of experiences in the spirit, visions or interactions with beings and all that kind of stuff, there's the idea that that correlates to energetically having agency and the ability to move energy and work with energy in different dimensional aspects, or different dimensions, I should say. And a lot of folks I'm finding really don't even have a good handle on their own aura body, which is their fourth dimensional self. So it's like, okay, if we're dealing with higher level concerns, which I know a lot of folks who follow me do, you're dealing with entities or all sorts of stuff. I don't want to go off on that, but if you're constantly being attacked, if you can't sleep, if you don't have the ability to hold boundaries and to handle things, that's an indication that there needs to be greater mastery over the energy body. And it's not a condemnation, but it's a place of like, okay, this is going to help protect you and to keep you in alignment with also being able to heal different higher dimensional aspects of yourself so you can integrate and have more profound levels of ascension. Because the first level is connecting with the higher self, which to me is the fifth dimensional aspect in my interpretation. But that has a certain protocol. There is a vibrational shift that has to happen. So one of the things that I really want to be able to encourage people for the most part this year, especially because it's the North Node will be in Cancer, is focusing on working on their energy body and getting the energy body clear consistently and vibrating higher. Really, truly focusing on that, because it's going to open you up so much more. It's going to speed up your manifestation process, right? But it also is going to enable you to engage more actively with the different aspects or experiences of your soul, not your human self, but your soul. So different incarnations, different dimensional aspects, and to effectively be able to midwife with them and through their healing work and to bring them in. So the same way that you work on yourself with your own healing journey, like if you experience childhood trauma or what have you, and you work with the that psychological aspect of yourself from that age and throughout, and you reintegrate, right? You'll be able to do that much more easily once you gain greater mastery over your own energy body. And that's one of the things we'll actually be talking about and working with and through the Lightworker Academy that I'm launching in January. Is a big component of that is regular self-facilitated energy healing, because it's a big deal, and we will be supported in making major quantum leaps in that experience, again because of the North Node in Cancer. So yeah, the two timelines, right? The defeat timeline, which for me just basically means that over the last couple months, essentially the choice was made to fall back into what was comfortable, versus the awakening, which is the timeline where you, for the past couple months, and also obviously longer than that, you've been choosing to push through the fear, to continue to lay the foundation for the new, and to choose something that is higher for yourself. And you're getting that chance to have that opening of the heart opening of power and spiritual dominion. These are going to be two very specific experiences. And what you will find, in all honesty, is that those who did this timeline, if you did this timeline, the interactions will gradually dissipate and disappear. Because you guys are going to be operating completely different vibrational energies. Let me actually go back and check these comments, because I know I saw a bunch coming through. And I'm going to pull a card from the Ascension cards by Diana Cooper, so we can get a higher dimensional message. And then I also have the Enchanted Map cards from Paulette Baron Reed. So we'll see what comes out of there. And then I also want to take questions as well too. So also with this, which I'm excited about with the live, if you guys have specific questions for yourself, let me know. And I'll pull cards to get guidance for you. Let's see. That's amazing. Feel a sense of death and rebirth from the winter solstice. Has been like this for the past week or so. Yes, same here. And actually, personally, since I remember last week on Tuesday, I got the instruction to wear white all day, which was odd because it's Tuesday, it's a Mars day, it's a warrior day, so I don't normally do white on that day. So I was like, okay. But then I realized we were opening up the corridor for this gateway. So I was like, okay, makes sense. But since Thursday, I've had to be in all white. So, and I think I'm going to have to be in all white through Monday, possibly. We'll see. But today is day 3, and I know I have to be in all white tomorrow. But if that has also been coming through, definitely be in the white, okay? Yes, I can feel it. Yay, in the new. Yay, Deanna, I'm so happy. That's what I'm experiencing. Awesome, Ellen. Thanks for the confirmation. Transitioning into new unknown is a free fall into new levels. Yes, face is the theme word for 2019. It's going to be a, listen, it's going to be a word for me too. Not the only one. Sissy V says, hi, can we still apply for the course? Yes. So on my website, on the, I took the info off of the homepage just because I wanted to have new copy on the homepage, but there is a page called Lightworker Academy. So if you click on that, it has all the information that was there previously on the homepage about the full course and the details. And then at the bottom of that page is the email for you to just write me a message and let me know that you're interested in applying. And then I will reply back with the application questions for you to answer. And then it usually takes, I usually only review, or not review, I review the answers when they come back in, but I go into council with Spirit. I've been keeping it just to Saturdays, so I can do a bunch at a time. So later on today, I will be going into council for folks who recently applied. And so I go into council to determine from Spirit whether it is appropriate for the person to be in the class or not. And so based off of what I'm getting and then what I get from Spirit, I make the decision, and then I send an email out to let folks know if they were accepted or if they were declined. But for either situation, I do relay the message that I got from Spirit. So for applying, you will get a mini reading from me, just to delineate, for those of you who would be accepted, what the I guess what the actual benefit is going to be for you on a spirit level, soul level, human level, what have you, depending on the message. And then also for those who are declined, there is still a message about what is coming ahead, what needs to be worked on, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, just FYI, you'll be getting a reading, a little one. I write up a little short paragraph about what I get. And then, yeah, you have through midnight, January 2nd to make payment if you were accepted. So you don't have to pay immediately. But I've had this going on since November. So at this point, we're kind of like in crunch time. So you're really only going to have another maybe 2 weeks or so or less. But yeah, so that is the last day to apply and to pay. So, um, for anything that comes in that day, obviously I would go into council that day and then let people know ASAP so that they can pay. Because we start on Saturday, which is the um, January 5th, which is the actual new moon eclipse in Capricorn. So yeah, and I'm excited about that. And I know, oh, Deanna, we never actually talked about this. Hopefully you're still on, Deanna, but okay, great. You'll send me. Okay, awesome. I will, when I jump on my actual computer later, because I'm on my phone for the live, I'll respond back with the questions. But Deanna, if you are still here, I know we haven't talked yet. I know you had questions about what was going to be best for you. Oh, yes, yes. So for the 2019 astrology forecast, that actually is already included as a bonus for students who will be participating in the Lightworker Academy. That's actually part of the first class. So I'm going to spend part of the time doing orientation, but the bulk of that first class is actually going to be, yeah, exactly. That's what I've been like telling folks. I was like, the value of this is so amazing with the bonuses that I'm giving. But I really wanted to price it to be at a place where it was going to be accessible. So, but regardless, everybody has to go through the same process. So I can't be like, oh, you get in because you want to get in. It's like everybody still has to go through the same process. And then, if you do get in, you would get that regardless. So, I mean, and that alone is half the cost of what I'm charging people. So, yeah, so I'll be doing that we'll do a group reading of that. And because this is a small, the intention is for this to be a small group, and it will be. I'll have information for everyone's houses and stuff, and we'll be going through it and talking through it. And we'll also have time to, for every class, we'll have time for open Q&A. I mean, it's gonna be open Q&A regardless. But for specific questions for yourself for the year, events that you might have planned, launches, meetings, retreats, whatever it is, because yes, I'm going to be basically dropping everything or as much as, it's not gonna be everything, but like as much as I can like download to folks is really what this is going to be for me on the Lightworker side. But on the human side of things, it is really truly meant to be as well an incubator for folks personally and professionally. As a little bit of a taste of what I like to do with my coaching clients. So I do want there to be a sharing of goals, which is part of the reason why it's also going to be starting on that eclipse, because we will be leveraging the astrological energy to amplify the manifestation of whatever specific projects that you're trying to get done or objectives that you're trying to reach. And it'll be a way to have support in the group for that, accountability, checking in, all those kinds of things. So I'm really looking forward to that part. So the first 3 months is weekly Saturday classes. So those will be happening live via Zoom video. And they'll either be 1 hour or 2 hours. On the days where there's bonus things that I'm doing, so for instance, the first class, those will be 2 hours. But for the most part, if it's not something that has a bonus attached to it, it's just going to be an hour. And yeah, that will be going weekly for the first 3 months. And then based on everyone's schedule, we'll do monthly office hours for the second set of 3 months. And that's going to be, again, more coaching focused, as well as answering more questions on the implementation of some of the theories and the concepts and stuff, and applying it to, because again, application action, applying it to either your own personal work or the work that you're doing with clients, or whatever the case is. So it's like part school, but also part coaching program, but also part networking with other light workers. So yeah, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to stretch me for sure. So it's going to be its own learning process, but it also will help me to play more of a big sister role to folks, and give access to me in a different way. All right. So any other questions? Yes, it is amazing. Thank you. It is amazing. All right. So yeah, feel free if you want specific messages for you from the winter solstice energy, or and I should say the message that that is delivering, or the energy that is delivering the messages, is actually the sun. And I actually just heard Metatron, so that was bringing the message about these two timelines, the split, that choice point. So if you have, as the sun comes out, if you have a close relationship with the sun, like I do, like I am among many things, but I am a sun child, truly. I am an angel, truly. Sun energy is really important. So this is always a really beautiful time of year. So let me see who is giving a message, or what is the message for this winter solstice and full moon in Cancer from the Ascension cards from Diana Cooper. Oh, I love it. I love it. Guess who came out? Mother came out. Mother has been coming through. All right, so what came out was the Isis card. Now, the other mother who's been coming up for me, just because of my energy and my specific relation, has been Kuan Yin. But I mean, basically Isis. So Isis is the Ascension card. There was also another card that popped out, but I'll talk about that in a second. So this is card number 38. So for those of you who are into numerology, 3 and 8 is 11, which is a card about mastery as well as ascension, which is the name of the game, right? Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. So the card says, Illumined Master Isis was Ma-Ra in Lemuria. Oh my God, that's crazy, because the other card that popped out was Lemurian Healing. Okay, so I think I may actually do a little Blue Star Dragon healing for everyone, because that's something that's popped up for me recently. It's been a wild ride, folks. Anyway, let me get back to the card. Illumined Master Isis was Ma-Ra in Lemuria. Isis, the high priestess of Atlantis, mother of Horus in Egypt, and Mary, mother of Jesus. Oh, I think I was reading that in the wrong kind of inflection. So let me start that again. Illumined Master Isis was Ma-Ra in Lemuria. Isis, the high priestess of Atlantis, mother of Horus in Egypt, and Mary, mother of Jesus. She was always overlit by the universal angel Mary, who helped Isis pass her initiations and ascend in each lifetime. This card reminds you of the power of the feminine. Face your challenges with equanimity and courage, knowing you are helped by angels. Your light bright and your energy pure. Was I not literally just talking about that? No matter what, keep your light bright and your energy pure, no matter what. And this will enable you to influence many on their ascension path. Remember, there is a greater plan. Yo. And the affirmation is, I face my challenges with calm and strength. That's an affirmation because I'm not necessarily calm when challenges come, but I do have the strength, so I'm working on working on the calm. Wow, this is right on point. Yeah, exactly. But that was literally like the message that just came through with the Oracle deck. That's my mother deck, so to speak. But yes, thank you. I prayed for that this morning. Awesome. Um, yeah, that's beautiful, and it's interesting they didn't actually include Kuan Yin on this card with Isis, but there's only so much room on the card to actually write because it really would be like whatever the ultimate mother goddess is. So I'm also hearing yes, this would be Yemenia as well too. So whatever the greater mother or greater divine feminine principle or energy or named being from whatever various cultures would be. I'm also hearing Frida for the Norse gods. Everybody's showing up right now. What is going? Let's see. Yeah, all of those are represented with that. So that's a message from Isis. Now, the other card that popped out is Lemurian Healing. And this is number 24, which is the 6. The 6 for me represents the human, the divine human. It specifically also is the individual soul. So I actually should delineate that. 6 actually would be the individual soul. 5 would be the human, the personality. So this card, Lemurian Healing, says Lemurians were 5th dimensional, androgynous beings who loved and wanted to heal Earth. They drew the love of God through the cosmic heart into this planet. Lemurians gathered the divine qualities from our energy fields and that of other stars, adding this to pure source light in order to form healing crystals to help us through the transition to the new golden age. The Lemurians then placed these healing crystals in the earth to light up the ley lines. Even now, when 2 or more are gathered with humility to focus these crystals, powerful healing takes place. And the affirmation is, I send Lemurian healing to Earth. That is beautiful. That's amazing. That's amazing. Who would have thunk it, right? All right. Any questions so far? Looks like we're still good. All right, so let me pull a card from the Enchanted Map to see what that message is. And I'll actually have to read that from the guidebook since it's an oracle deck. And then we'll get into individual questions if you want specific guidance. So go ahead and type in from now your questions. That way we won't have a lag time. So message for us all for, oh, I got this card last night too. The number 6, the Mountain. Look at this beautiful card. So again, we get that 6 energy, the individual soul, that Cancer energy, North Node through Cancer. Cancer is a sign that the moon rules. And so when we talk about the nodes in general, we're actually talking about the moon's nodes. So the moon's nodes are in its home energy. Okay, so let me read this. It says, you have the capacity to flow around any obstacle. This is the time to adapt. I'll just read the upright version since it came upright. Sometimes you'll come across what appears to be an insurmountable obstacle, like a huge mountain that separates you from your success. You might think that climbing it or chiseling away at it is the answer. But why take such a treacherous, tedious approach? Be like the rivers that flow around the mountains naturally. You'll move past this obstacle relatively quickly if you choose the easy way around. This is the time to adapt to your circumstances. If you do decide to climb, remember to take one step at a time, opting for the next right action. So this is a really important message, okay? Because, you know, Cancer, the moon, that's all water energy, right? And the universe acts through flow. So we're being asked to show up like water. Oh my God, I just had that flash of Bruce Lee, that clip when he's talking about be like water. Like, why? I love that. Why take such a treacherous, tedious approach of trying to chisel away or climb a mountain? Can you actually let it be easy? And I know I've talked about this last year too, because last year when I remember the beginning of the year, I was really focused on letting this year be the year of miracles, miraculous living. And this is coming up again. Can you let it be easy? Can you actually go around an obstacle? Can you adapt to an obstacle as opposed to focusing on trying to tear it down as an option, right? Because I mean, some stuff you will have to battle, you will have to fight, but see if there is a way for it to be an easier time of dealing with whatever is coming up. And if you do decide to, as it says, climb the mountain or take it down, take it one step at a time. That's amazing. Really, really beautiful. I love. Okay. So let's see. Get these comments up. Open to any specific guidance coming through from me around solstice energy. Um, so what is your first name? Where did that just come from? 617 Pole. Your first name and also your location, please. And then I'll pull some cards. Susan, all right, and then your location, Susan. Chicago, all right. Susan in Chicago. So the card that first flew out is the Lover's card, which is talking about, I mean, there's a lot with the Lovers. It can talk about the soul group that you're a part of. It also can talk about decisions that need to be made. It can talk about your ascension process. One second now. I'm hearing it's time to take the new path. You already did your work. It's time to let the old stuff go. You already did the work. You changed your belief systems. Just take the step forward because you're hesitating. You already know how to work hard. You're trying to build future and legacy for yourself. You've done what you need to do. It's time to shift. And life is shifting you regardless, and it's stressing you out. It's stressing you out. Because you may have also felt like you've been alone for a long time. But there is just stuff that's like closing out, and it's time, honestly, truly, for you to reconnect with your spirit essence, your soul essence. Um, and there are a lot of messages coming through, which may be over. Are you being overwhelmed by some messages that are coming through for you? Do you feel like you're unprepared for the instruction? Because I have like three, I actually have 4 10s out, one of which is the Wheel of Fortune. So, um, yeah, there's a lot of spiritual guidance coming through, but there's also, I can see, worry. But it's just, you've done the work, you're good. Um, so life is shifting regardless. You can't really stay behind because you did the work, you already crossed that threshold. So, all right, well, let me know. So for tomorrow in Connecticut, let's see a message for you. Ah, sorry, guys. uh, Technology. Thankfully, the video didn't go away. I got my hand caught in the what you call it, the headphone cord. Or I get confused. Seems like a lot of different things I feel I should do. Oh, okay. So the thing is, though, if you need that clarity, what you actually need to lean on is the spirit, specifically because your higher self is there and it's talking to you. So all the concerns that you have, like the way that you would talk to a friend, like you need to actually be in conversation like that with your higher self, or your ancestors, loved ones who passed over, like whatever it is. But think of yourself as like the CEO of your life. So you would have meetings every morning to talk about what the accomplishments are, what is to be faced for the day, opportunities, obstacles. You need to be doing that, because if you're in your head too much, there's too much help and support around you to help you with making decisions, and you don't have to take full responsibility because you don't have to manage everything. And the thing is, when you work with divine beings, they work on the law of consent. So if you don't give access by opening up communication and saying like, hey, I need help with this, or I want to focus on this, or what have you, they're limited in what they can do. So lean on them, please, please. And that's going to be another thing, I think, for a lot of folks this year, including myself, because I've been getting this message. I'm not relying enough on spirit. I'm doing, possibly, I'm not sure, but 90% human, 10% spirit. Now my 10% is pretty powerful, but that dynamic needs to shift. And I think that orientation for connection to reality, to soul, for all of us, and for me, the reconnection, because you constantly have to remind yourself, is going to be front and center. So yeah, lean on your team. All right, so Tamara, yay! I know, I love it. People say my name wrong too, and I'm like, they'll call me like Lynette, and I'm like, how do you get an L? It's a J. All right, so Tamara. So first card out was the King of Swords. So this could be specifically a person who possibly might have a sun sign that's a air element. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or a rising sign of that element. But if it's not a person, this could be the quality of being discerning, having boundaries, negotiating contracts, speaking your truth, staying in your truth, having a higher perspective, all those kinds of things. Now, let me get the rest of the cards out. Because I actually just heard focus on yourself. uh, but let me see. Because I don't want to be reading folks or telling folks business without proper insight. So let me make sure I'm not. Guidance for tomorrow. Sip of tea. So I only take clean jumpers from my deck. So when I get like a bunch of cards that like fall out, I don't take them because it's too much energy and it needs to be focused. All right, let me get one more and then I can do the reading. So I do see that there has been a bit of a holding pattern for you. And if this has to do with your love life, Tamara. Yeah, because I'm getting relationship, possible marriage. So are you, but marriage could be like just a committed partnership. Because yeah, you know how to be on your own, but I think there is somebody coming through. So if you've been looking for love, specifically, you want somebody who is like that quote unquote perfect. Not much going there in the love life, so that is a focus. You want love, because that's really what I'm actually picking up from the cards here. So I think that the energy is shifting for that to actually come in for you, but your focus is to maintain your standard, maintain what you want. So having your boundaries, but also being really clear about what you want, and staying in your heart and staying open and vulnerable, like all of those things at once. Like you have to, like you can still be open-hearted and loving and vulnerable while still having boundaries. And that's because you are not needing to get the emotional confirmation outside of yourself. And maybe that has been what this process has been teaching you, especially over the last year and a half or so. But you're good. You yourself are good. And I think that energy is actually going to be shifting pretty quickly. And it looks like maybe recently you had situations where you couldn't trust whoever you were involved with. Like you weren't always being told the truth or being told everything. But justice is on your side, though. And I think something more serious is coming in. So give me a little bit more info tomorrow if that's actually resonating, because I'm specifically getting relationship energy. So I think at the very least, there's going to be more opportunities for dating popping up, which will help shift you into partnership, because it'll be on its way and it's going to come in its appropriate timing. But yeah, let me know, and I'll just stay on for maybe like another 15 minutes because I do actually have to run. It's resonating. Some prize, there's dating info coming up. Listen, I never know. So I have, the King of Swords is what's bringing us to the table. So like I said, it's a person or it's an aspect of self, but the action to take is you. You've been focused on connecting with spirit the last part of the year. I mean, that could be spiritual connection as well, but I'm really getting dating energy because at the top, the strategy is a 10 of cups. I mean, that also is spirit. It talks about connection to the oversoul. But where your strength lies is your own independence and having all of yourself together. And that's a very earthy energy. And the divine is protecting you with justice. So karmic balance. But that's also contracts. And I have 2 court cards here of the same element. So that also very much to me relates to marriage or connection. And Ace of Cups is where you are right now, heart opening, but it's also soul renewal. This could be soul expansion. This is the path you're going on, but it also can be a lot of messages and offers coming through. And you've come out of a place of the Hangman, so this is a lot of healing, but it's also things being put on hold. So, you know, if it is just a spiritual thing, like I can see that as well too, but I'm really getting relationship stuff. So maybe, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but be on the ready. And then if it's really not that, if that's not resonating with you and it's the soul stuff, what it really would tell me is that you did enter that door, you did achieve what you were seeking to achieve, and you are sitting fully in your power, and you're about to enter into a period of massive expansion. And it specifically would be for the year. It's not just like a couple weeks. So there you go. Hope that helps. Let's see, DJ from Washington. That's helpful. I've been surveying the dating scene. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I might meet somebody. What's your tomorrow? What's your if you know it, your rising sign first, sun sign, and then moon sign. Let me get info for D real quick. Virgo rising, and then the other 2 are Gemini. Okay. All right, so for D, this is about the King of Earth energy. So again, this could be a person that has that sun sign of an earth element, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Or it could have to deal with the concepts and idea related to the management of resources or manifesting things in the physical, whether it's money, finances, family, business, etc. And I think actually for, well, let me get the rest of the cards out because this is also could be either or a personal situation or with money specifically. So I think this is actually relational as well, which is interesting. So we got the King of Earth, and then the action step or the process that you are going on or need to go on is the 5 of Earth. So that is shifting out of the comfort zone and possibly even feeling like there's a breakdown in a relationship or communication, or that things are in transition, especially if you recently had a child. Maybe that has put a strain on the relationship. You know how to keep emotional balance and equanimity within yourself, but there may also be a little bit of a depression that pops in every once in a while. But at the end of the day, you are actually in control of your experience. You have a lot more power to determine what that is. It's not something that happens to you. You're the one that's in charge of that. And your intuition already tells you a lot. You may not have been in the habit or whatever of listening to that. And so you can tend to not make a decision on things and have them be made for you and then feel like you're at effect of the world. But one of the things that Venus and Scorpio has been doing for the past couple months has been really asking you to get clear about what you really want, so that you can take your power back and take your agency back in a different kind of way, or exercise it. It's not actually that it's taken, it's just exercise it, because it's not being exercised. And it may be related to like how you see yourself in the family role, with its, belief systems around marriage, relationships, kids, family, like that kind of stuff. And knowing that, it's a co-creative process. So there could be a little stress in communication. But I think ultimately you have to take responsibility for you, your part, in how you show up. Because that's all you actually have power over or control over, to be honest. Any of us. It's not just you. Yeah. Deanna would like love guidance around you would love guidance around your love life. Okay. You're welcome, Dee. Deanna, are you in? Well, tell me what city you're in, because I don't know if you are already traveling. So I don't want to assume that you are where I think you are. Okay. Love life for Deanna. First card out, Seven of Wands, which is a card that can also talk about victory, but also defenses. And your action is actually the King of Swords energy. Let me get 2 other cards out and see what's going on. Okay, interesting. You got the Hangman as well, and the recent energy, which was similar to Tamara's reading of being on hold a bit. But it is also a card, of course, of healing. Okay. 1 second. All right, so again, yeah, the action is the King of Air. So similar stuff about being clear about what you want, having boundaries, taking action and basically being the embodiment of what you want to have. One second though. Because this actually seems to be more about holding boundaries. Okay, yeah, this seems to be more about you needing to hold boundaries better. So, okay. I'm trying to like ground this in real quick. So the Seven of Swords being that victory, but also holding the fences is as the primary concept that Spirit is bringing to your attention. The action of the King of Swords of being discerning, being empowered, but also again having boundaries, having recently come out of a period of things being stalled and also needing to do some deep healing work. And the strategy to help you with this discernment and self-empowerment is the Four of Earth, which talks about laying the foundation, but it is about being balanced in all aspects of self. It does talk about also having the heart closed off at times. But the position is not necessarily a negative position because it's also a way to be able to do this. So you already have a lot of spiritual power. You have the King of Wands, fire. And you have already a lot of soul power. This is in a position of strength, the lovers. That's what you can lean on. So not only your community, but also actually, especially your soul community, your spirit community. But some of the recent issues have been the Nine of Cups. So this is partly clarity about what you want, what you wish for, and not going back and forth on what that looks like. But also, too, this can talk about excess of drinking because it's Jupiter and Pisces. So it's the cups, and this is a position of struggle. So that's why I have to give that as well as an interpretation. And in long-term battles has been with the Prince of Earth, which are the knights. But anytime you have a knight showing up in a negative context, this talks about battles. So this is battles around relationships and offers being made or not made and things like that. But there is a wake-up call that you are undergoing right now because this is literally the position that you're sitting in now. This is Uranus energy. This is the Judgment card. So this is the call to self, but this is also the revelation. This card literally is the card of revelation. This is the revelation to what is truly there. So possibly this Uranus retrograde right now in Aries is kind of bringing some things bringing some things back full circle for revelation. Uranus will actually be shifting out of Aries, I believe, in April, and then it's going to go into Taurus, where it will stay, for the next several years. So there still may be a few months of the revealing of things for you that needs to occur, which may possibly be a little tough, but it's specifically about boundaries because you're going on the path of the Five of Swords, and this is about learning and practicing how to hold boundaries, both verbally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, all those kinds of things. But that, for me, is what this card is specifically. So that's what this process is the focus on. And the goal of that here in the center is the Four of Cups, which is emotional equanimity. This is a positive context. In the negative context, that card talks about depression, but this is the positive aspect of it. So being in a place of emotional balance where you can do this effectively and not battle this energy of the Nine of Cups. Because that emotional equanimity is actually what's going to enable you to embody the King of Air, King of Swords, so that you can, because basically this is the Seven of Wands. Yes, it's about holding boundaries, but it's also holding the standard above what was there before. Because like in the Rider-Waite deck, if you let me see if I can actually, because I have the Rider-Waite. It's actually somebody that's on a mountain. So the 6 is victory, but to the 7, there's actually battle again. So it's actually a card still of fighting, but the person is above the fray, above the wands energy, whatever is coming at it, positive or negative, right? But it's above it, and it's being really clear about what it's down for and what it's not down for. So this is what it looks like in the Rider-Waite deck. So there's still victory, but it's still a card of fighting, but this person is above the energy that it was engaging with. So that's that message. But it looks like that really is only going to be in play, like I said, most likely just for the next few months, as a further closing out of cycles. So on point, have been practicing and getting better with the boundaries. Awesome. Had a deep heart opening last night, and also one of the things I released is excessive drinking. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Spirit be coming through with that. Wow. And yes, revelations. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I just can only relay what I hear. If you still have time, I would like some guidance. And Sissy, what's your first name? And you'll be my last person because I do actually need to go. I'm glad that helps, Diana. Yay, revelation. Serene. Okay, so Serene in Switzerland. And then actually Spirit told me to pull for myself, so I guess I have to tell him. I guess I have to tell him myself. Okay, so first card out for you is the Princess of Cups, which is also the Page of Cups. These cards. So the pages or the princesses talk about fully being on the new journey. But also can talk about intuition, devotion, children, love offers, messages from Spirit, that kind of stuff. It seems to be more about Spirit, though, I think, because the action card is the Queen of Wands. Unless you're trying to get pregnant. But well, let me just get the rest of the cards out. Stop talking. Let me get the full picture. The thing is, like, it's so interesting with astrology or with tarot. It's like you have to hold knowledge of so many different interpretations, not only of the card and the imagery and the astrological components for each card, that until you get the full picture out, you don't actually know what is dropping in. It's kind of weird. Anyway. Yeah, this is more soul stuff. This is soul stuff. Yeah. Oh, this looks great. Okay, so yeah, I would say you actually just recently had some awakening experience yourself. Probably, I would say specifically for you, because I have this showing up in the divine protection and communication. That is Uranus. So I would actually go back the last couple months specifically and see where there was a a transit that involved Uranus. And I think within this last 2 weeks, we had something happen. Maybe it was like Sun trine Uranus or something, maybe within this last week or so. But there was some breakthrough or some initiation or information that definitely should have come through already. Like that should have already actually happened to set you on this next leg of your spiritual journey. And this specifically relates to your spiritual power. If you are trying to develop your skills in a particular modality or the work that you do, or just in the spirit, that kind of thing, that's what you have to be focused on, is like your spiritual mastery specifically, because you have been doing a lot of work to balance all of your aspects of your soul, and you do have access to that. You are good, you are solid. So if there has been a question about whether or not you graduated or made it or whatever it is, yes. Yeah, you're very grounded and you're very clear about what you want to build in the future, whereas before you might have had difficulty like trusting your intuition or making a decision on those types of things. But I think you've actually come out of that, because it looks like you recently have had a bit of a dark night of the soul situation where it might have been tough to be able to trust your instincts or to trust the messages that are coming through. Or you may really, like I said, just have been having a dark night of the soul where you just had to go deep and be in the fog for a bit. But the revelation, again, should have actually already occurred, so that you feel like you're in a place right now of divine union within. And so what's going to end up happening now that that has occurred, basically starting from the new year and on, is the expansion of your power, your spiritual power, and your dominion in the spirit. So, yeah. Things are going to kick off in a really quickly and big way in the spirit for you in January, December 31st. But I think for you guys, it's going to be January 1st. So for us but yeah. So, oh, yay. That's good. That's good. I'm glad that resonates. All right. So I guess I have to do a quick one for myself since we haven't had time for me to talk about my journey. So I'll probably look to do that another day. And I'm most likely, like I'm 90% sure that I may actually jump on and do an Oracle Talks on New Year's Day itself. Oh, you're welcome. So, of course, if I do, I'll let you know. And I'll still be getting the weekly astrology and weekly Lightworker forecast up as normal. Okay, so let me get guidance for myself to share with you guys for the solstice and the I just heard new moon solar eclipse, but we're not there yet. All right, so soul power is what this is about. 6 of Cups. Action I have to take, 7 of Cups. This is choosing what I really want and being unapologetic about it, but also being really clear about what I don't want. That's what I need to be doing if I'm going to be operating in my power. Obviously, this is a continual issue. I have a lot of Libra in my chart. But the 7 of Cups is specifically really dropping into, okay, what is the actual desire versus what is the thought about it? And that's the shift, because I have a Virgo moon, so I very much can get in my head. And it's not that I have to not have my wits about me. I do. But when it comes to leveraging soul power, exercising soul power, that's 7 of Cups. So let's get the rest of the cards out and see what the remaining messages are. And then I gotta run. I'm glad the video is still good. I don't know what was going on last week, but for those of you who saw my post on IG story, I woke up this morning, my phone battery was completely drained. So I know that there was some powerful energy happening last night because that was literally the shift over the galactic center. So, okay. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. So the energy that I've just come out of is the four of earth. So this is laying the foundation, routine, structure. This is also personal power, but also coming out of a time of, on some level, being having boundaries and having the heart closed. And so the universe is supporting me in being my unique self in the collective and getting out of my comfort zone, helping me to tap into that courage. Because I'm a Cancer, I like being comfortable. So that's good. And I already know how to do this, which is the Knight of Swords. I already know how to be in my head, know how to talk and write and just be and all that kind of stuff. But once I've done all of this, and if I realize like, okay, I need help to actually make the final decision, I have to tap into that Seven of Cups energy. And I already have the expertise and know-how in juggling changing circumstances. I already know how to do that. So because I have established this, which is a sense of security within self and within spirit, it's even easier emotionally to deal with the adaptations to things, or basically adapting to circumstances like what came up in the card earlier. So it looks like my journey is going from this, the Four of Wands, which is spiritual power and spiritual balance, on the Jupiter path, which is a spiritual teacher, the guru, and personal and spiritual development. So Jupiter will continue walking with me. Me and Jupiter are like husband and wife, basically. So I'm not too surprised that energy has shown up, because I know that this specifically, the call this year, even to do the Lightworker Academy, to start writing the book and all these kinds of things are, they are assignments there, but they're necessary for the next leg in the journey. And that is very much going to be guided by that Jupiterian energy, Archangel Zadkiel, etc. So the recent challenge has been this Princess of Cups. So it's trusting the intuition, staying in a childlike space within my heart, being open, not being afraid, also not being naive though too. And long-term issues or healing work has been on working on the ascension of the soul evolution, but also spiritual battles, deep healing. And it's specifically, both of those cards have to deal also with emotions. And again, I'm a Cancer, so you see there's a lot of water energy that showed up. So that's been a big thing, is being able to process and allow emotions to come, but also to not be debilitated by them like I used to in the past. Or even if I do get to, for whatever reason, there is something that's like really anxiety producing or panic producing or what have you. It's like maybe a day or two, maybe 3, and then it goes away, as opposed to like weeks. So significant progress and healing in that. So, all right. And for me, this ultimately, the center card, about boundaries as well too. Because what I'm actually hearing is that people pleasing energy is what I have, which is that Cancer Sun, and all that Libra that I have in my chart, because it's thinking of other before self. So I am still working on that, and I will continue to be working on that in a big way this year. So, I will be continuing to adjust how I show up, especially with even this work, the spiritual work, so that I'm staying in integrity for myself, staying in balance for myself, and also showing up in the best way possible for those that I work with. Because I'm also modeling behavior, right? So that is all for today. I love you all. I was just like shuffling the cards, and what popped up was the devil and the princess of Earth. So if they're stressed about money, let that go. It's okay. Handle your business, but don't also be afraid of your power. All right. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ellen. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. I don't know if I will pop on. I feel like I may actually jump on like Christmas Eve or something, because I know the holidays are tough. I mean, the Christmas in particular can be a little tough, and it is for me. Yeah, lots of messages. Because I was like, I feel like there's going to be messages coming through, so I may actually be on a lot, but I won't. I won't jump on YouTube for that. It'll probably be either Instagram or Facebook Live, but I'll give you guys a heads up on both of those platforms what it's going to be, because I want this to have a specific kind of format. So I want this to just be for Oracle Talks and maybe special announcements if they're really big, but really just Oracle Talks and the monthly forecasts. So yeah, if there are a lot of messages coming through, because this is also sent from the High Priestess, there may actually be a lot that continues to be downloaded. So if you don't mind being connected to social media right now over the next couple days or even week or so, I may be actually on a lot just straight channeling messages, it looks like, because we're still in that corridor of the galactic center, so there may be some more stuff that comes through. But anyway, love you all. Thank you for spending your time with me here. Please share the video once it's uploaded and processed. And yeah, I will be sending out the newsletter soon. There's going to be some nice adjustments and changes and announcements, and also I have an upcoming interview on Beyond the Ordinary show as well too. That's going to be happening beginning of February, so I got to flesh out what my package is going to be for that, because it needs to be something different. And I know it's going to be specifically focused on healing work, but I have to figure out what I want to work on. So yes, it is exciting. I am really excited, and I'm also excited to jump into editing my film. I just actually bought a new computer because I dropped mine, and yeah. So I wasn't planning on buying one until next year. So yeah, that's where we are right now with that. And yeah, there's going to be a lot going on. I have a lot that I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be leaning more on newsletter stuff and just doing, some videos, because I need to remain on top of my time, because I also want to have a life. So, and I also am wanting to make sure I have space for love as well too to come in, because that is coming in for me. So they're not there yet, but Spirit's very clear that that's coming in. So I'm like, I have to do my work too. All right, so I love you all. Thank you again, like I said. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe so you get notified when I do go live, in case you missed the announcement on Facebook or Instagram. And I still haven't decided what the day is going to be for Oracle Talks for the new year. It's either going to be a Tuesday, a Thursday, or a Friday, most likely. I just don't know which of those. So I may still have to play around and see how the energy feels on those days. I'm actually kind of feeling Tuesday morning, but because I have, the Lightworker Academy on Saturdays, I can't do it on Saturday. I have to focus on the class. So we'll see. I like being able to be consistent, but I might just have to be more in the flow. All right. See you soon. Bye.